Thank you. Prior to the roll call, do you mind I'll just read the formalities
Absolutely.
for the beginning. So as you all know, and I was able to let you know last meeting, so I won't be as lengthy as our initial virtual meeting. But just wanted to let you know that today's meeting is conducted electronically, and it's allowed based on the governor's state of emergency declaration for COVID-19. And as this past city council's meeting confirmed that the continuity of government ordinance was extended. So this meeting can take place virtually with all of your participation, and you're able to vote on items. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. We do have one presentation listed on the agenda for staff presentations, and Mr. Rick Rowe is here. I'll help him with that. We do not have any speakers registered for this afternoon, and just to make sure that since this live electronic event, runs smoothly as possible, then just try to give a little brief pause from the time that you unmute yourselves and you're able to speak, so that we can capture it in the minutes as best as possible. And if your voice trails, then I might ask you, if you don't mind, to repeat yourself. I'll try not to be too troublesome with that. Let's see. I will. Since there is one presentation just at the end, the chair will open the floor for questions. If anyone is unmuted, then particularly if you're calling in, then I'll unmute you just to give you the chance to speak if you do have anything to say, or you can just let me know if you do not. I'll see most of your faces, so you'll be able to let me know either by an electronic hand raise. You should have that option on your screens, or also we do have the chat function, so it'll help the panelists a little bit more to communicate with me. And so at the conclusion of the meeting, the chair will move to any of the parts of the agenda that do require a vote. If we haven't, or once we, it looks like we have quorum, so never mind. Then as usual, our chair will ask for a motion in a second and open the floor for discussion, and just use your electronic vote or in person. So if I may need your help a little bit, and may have to go down the roll call if I don't get it clear. So please bear with me for that. That's it. Thank you, and I'll turn the meeting over to Chairman Fentress.
All righty. Thank you, Beth.
Welcome.
At this time, can we do the roll call?
Will do. All right. Commissioner Bunke.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis. Let me check. I have one attendee. There we go. Commissioner Dolan. Was she able to make it in? Doesn't look like it's cooperating for her. Commissioner Ewell. Commissioner Felton. Commissioner Fentress.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Giroux.
I'm here.
Here. Thank you. Commissioner Monaco.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Payne is excused. Commissioner Prosser.
I'm here.
Thank you. Commissioner Tower.
Here.
Thank you. And Commissioner Tierney.
Here.
Thank you very much. And do we have Council Member Wooten? Not yet. Maybe in a moment. We'll see. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Beth. Hey, at this time, has everybody had a chance to read the minutes from February 4th, 2021 minutes? If we have,
May I note that we do have a couple of changes. One small change to the minutes. The date for us approving is February 4th, January 7th, 2021, not 2020, like was in the minutes. And the members of the commission who are excused were also included, Commissioner Monaco and Commissioner Tierney, for last meeting.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Hakeem.
All in favor, aye.
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 Any nays? Okay, the minutes have been approved and passed. All right, do we have any agenda additions? Any correspondence or public comment? Okay, go to number 6 for old business. We'll talk about the youth tackle football program. And Michael, do you want to go over the proposed changes again, and then I guess we'll open that up for discussion.
Sure, happy to. So I know online here with us is Jane Jagodinski, our sports management coordinator. If you recall, last month the department is proposing to divest itself of youth tackle football, no longer offer this as a department-led or department-sponsored activity. This would be very much closely akin to what we did with youth baseball years ago. We don't offer youth baseball. There are youth baseball opportunities throughout the community, and they play in our fields. We just don't run those leagues. A lot of information in that presentation last month involving really what's bringing this on is the decline in participation for youth tackle football and the growth of other areas, most notably our 7-on-7 passing league and our touch football. So, or flag football. So we are proposing to divest ourselves of this. The participation is plummeting and redirect our resources elsewhere. As I said last month, it may come with some controversy for the couple leagues out there that are still playing and can still field a couple teams. They may not be happy. There are other service providers, though, in the community, and we are dedicated to working with all the groups and bringing them all together moving forward. But with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mike, and the commission if anybody has any questions. And Jane is here as well to answer any questions.
All right, everybody. Does anyone have any questions? I think they did a great presentation last month going over the pros and cons of it. I agree with the department. Need to divest ourselves of that. Does anyone have any suggestions or any ideas on that? Okay. If not, Michael, should I go ahead and put out a motion to vote on it, or what would you like for that?
Sure. In fact, we have prepared one. Can you pull that up, Beth?
Sure.
And of course, the commission is free to change, adapt, or amend, or do any motion they want, but we did draft one up for your consideration.
Sorry, it's not so easy moving all these things around on my screen. Would you like me to display it, or I'll just go ahead and read?
If you'd like to read it, that'd be whatever's easier for you.
All right. So the request is made to the commission to motion to endorse the staff recommendation of the department divesting of youth tackle football. The department would no longer offer the sport as a department organized activity, but would continue to provide and schedule fields for external youth tackle football organizations. And moving forward, the department will continue to offer, manage, and promote alternative options such as the 7v7 passing leagues and flag football currently being offered.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? I think that's great. Okay. This time I'd like to see if there's a motion to approve the,
I'll make the motion to approve.
do we have a second?
I second that, Akeem Prosser.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any nays? Okay,
All right. Thank you, everybody.
thank you. Okay, do we have any new business? Go over. If not, we'll go to the staff reports and we'll turn it over to Rick Rowe. Rick, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mike. Hope everybody can hear me. Beth's going to bring up the presentation, hopefully, where everybody can see it. She also sent it out earlier if you want to just look at it later on if you haven't had a chance. Some of the slides are busy. I'm just going to do a quick overview of the unit. And then at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are with the 2021 programs and events schedule. And then I'll take questions at the end if you have any. Okay, next slide. We are Park Events, Programs, and Special Use. PEPSU, not Pepsi, but PEPSU is our title, but we'll answer to anything. What do we do? Just as a refresher, we do all the private event management and the event permitting in the park system and a couple other facilities. We manage some special use facilities. We plan and conduct the environmental programs in the parks, the special events in the parks, and also the outdoor recreation programs and those sort of things in the parks. Next one, Beth. Busy slide. I'm not going to read all of it, but in terms of private event management, essentially, anytime anyone wants to rent a shelter, rent a portion of a park, rent equipment, schedule a wedding, anything like that, our staff do all of that. We have a call center that they answer about 4,000 plus calls a year at 385 Park, where we answer questions, but also do all of those rentals and event coordination. The event permit coordination itself involves a lot of departments in the city. We get all of that coordinated ahead of time, make sure the insurance is good, everything meets city code, risk management's good, police, fire, EMS are all good. We have to coordinate all of that before we even think about doing a final approval and issuing a permit for the event. We also manage the expressive activities, the First Amendment freedom of speech activities. We coordinate the commercial park use. And then, like I said, we issue about 350 event permits during a normal year for events at the rec centers, all the events in the parks, a couple of the sportsplex and the field house, depending on what they are. In terms of special use facilities, real quick, we manage the boat ramp and beach facility down at the Lesnar Bridge. I think most of you are familiar with that. What was really interesting during 2020 is, that facility has always been busy in the 20 years we've had it open. It's been busy on the weekends from spring, summer, fall, and other times of the year, depending on how fish are running and those kind of things. What was really, I think, surprising during 2020, we were not only filling that facility on weekends, we were filling that facility on weekdays. By 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, that facility was full, and we were dealing with traffic issues on fair weather weekdays, much less the weekends. So somewhat surprising. Still trying to put my finger on exactly why, and not really sure if that's going to continue into 2021 on the weekdays. So but we're preparing as if it is. So that was a little bit surprising with the boat ramp and beach facility. Go ahead, Beth. Across the inlet at the marina, we've got a 50-slip marina over there. We rent those out on an annual basis. We have public safety slips for police, fire, EMS. And that facility's been picking up for the last couple of years. You know, with the downturn in the economy, folks were trailering their boats a few years ago. They were selling their boats a few years ago. So we had vacancies. Now for the last couple of years, especially in 2020, we are at capacity and we have a small waiting list right now. Next slide, Beth. We also operate and schedule and manage the events on the new Traskmore stage. I say new because it's still new to us. I mean, we did open it for July 4th in 2019. We had a couple of events in later 2019. And then, of course, we didn't really do much of anything there in 2020 because of COVID. So we're looking forward to putting more use back on the stage later this year. And then hopefully in 2022, we're going to be scheduling and managing the new indoor shelter, indoor events venue at Great Neck Park. Those bids just came in, I believe. Chad's working on that. So hopefully we'll be under construction later this year and open in 2022. So we're looking forward to that. Be a lot of weddings, a lot of indoor events down there. In terms of the environmental programs and environmental events, we oversee the city's Adopt-A program. We currently have 94 active groups in that program. We also coordinate Clean the Bay Day, which is the largest volunteer event for a single day in Virginia Beach and actually the region. During a normal year, it's well over 1,000 volunteers for that Clean the Bay Day that we do the first Saturday in June. We probably will not be back to normal this year, unfortunately, but hopefully in 2022, we'll be back to normal. We do have some annual programs that we do with Public Works. We do the annual Earth Day event, Great American Cleanup, and some other cleanup programs. We partner with schools on the environmental classes and studies that we're doing down at the Brock classroom at Pleasure House Point. Also work with them on MeWes and some other things. We also coordinate various recycling programs. And as you can see at the bottom of this busy slide, we have a lot of environmental partners that we partner with to do these programs and classes and events. Next slide. The same group also does our outdoor recreation and our outdoor programs and events. We do kayaking, we do archery, we do our nature hikes, we do fishing, we do our back to nature summer camps, which right now probably will be modified for 2021. We are having some discussions with OST about a partnership with their camps. I'm just not sure we're going to be able to do our normal back to nature camp with all the things that we normally do, the close instruction, the cleaning of equipment, the sanitization, the distancing, of course, the transportation to get them to the sites each day. So probably not a normal back to nature camps this summer. So we'll probably partner with OST to do some variation of that for some of their programs. Also during COVID, really proud of my folks. They pivoted and did a lot of virtual programming that we weren't able to do in person. For the essential childcare camps with OST, they did virtual field trips. They did virtual programming, which worked out really well. So we learned some things there that we can do. We did a lot of small pop-up environmental programs and hidden treasure segments. And then we just recently completed the 11th year of the Winter Wildlife Festival, which unfortunately was modified this year. Moving on with the same group of folks, we also plan and conduct the large special events that we do in the parks that are city-sponsored, city-coordinated, city-sponsored, and city-conducted. Our signature event is the annual July 4th celebration and fireworks. I'll talk a little bit about that when I talk about the schedule a little bit later. We've got a May 1st go, no-go date to make a decision on July 4th this year. It's a bigger picture decision we need to make as a city, so I'll talk a little bit about that when I talk about the schedule. During normal times, we do, the large Cherry Blossom Festival, the Water Lantern Festival. We do concerts. We do the Mount Trashmore Summer Carnival. We do a lot of smaller pop-up events and performances. And typically during a normal year, our events attract over 100,000 people. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about where we are with the 2021 events and programs schedule. Some of you have seen this already with the foundation and a couple other folks. The highlighted section there is key, subject to change. It's changing almost every day. In fact, I had another change this morning. So next slide, Beth. We'll run through the schedule. I'm not going to hit on every one of these. I'll just hit on the larger ones and you can look at them later and let me know if you had any questions. As I've said, we just completed the Winter Wildlife Festival, which was heavily modified. We did activities throughout the month rather than condensing everything on the last weekend of January. We did have our normal keynote speaker, but it was virtual. We had to reduce the number of in-person trips because of transportation. But it was pretty well attended, but we're looking forward to getting back to normal in 2022. We just completed Come to the Bay conference with the Virginia Tidewater Turfgrass Consortium. We did a environmental project with them last week as part of that conference, which was also virtual. Cherry Blossom Festival will not happen as normal. We're not in a position to have a large festival at Red Wing Park with 6,000 to 7,000 to 8,000 people. So we're going to be doing some activities later this month. We're going to be doing story walks, which focuses on Red Wing Park and the cherry blossom trees themselves. Also a little bit of the sister city relationship there with the Japanese garden. So later this month, we'll continue to do those activities, but it will not be a normal cherry blossom festival this year, hopefully back to normal in 2022. The Great American Cleanup will be modified this year. Earth Day event, again, not doing an event with several thousand people throughout the day. It'll be a modified event, scaled down quite a bit. And the 2 days, Still Days of Caring that we normally do is an annual program. We're still having discussions on whether we're going to be able to do that or not. And then the Celebrating Children event is a partner event we usually do with economic development and out of school time and some other city stakeholders. And we've already canceled that for this year. Next slide, Beth. Moving on, this is one that just changed this morning. May 14th, 15th was originally the Firefighter Combat Challenge at Mount Trashmore. We had about 10 days ago, we had canceled that and we're looking for a fall date and we're planning for a fall date. But in talking with the stakeholders this morning, because of all of their requirements from the national organization, their partners, their sponsors, we actually ended up canceling Firefighter Combat Challenge altogether for 2021. So as I mentioned, it's almost changing every day. So that one has changed just in the last couple of days since we finished the presentation. So that one is canceled for 2021. Looking ahead, we are going to try to do the summer carnival at Mount Trashmore. Within the guidelines, we feel we can do it. The Strawberry Festival, as you know, has been canceled for 2021. This is the carnival that we usually put at Strawberry Festival when we bring them to Trashmore. We're probably going to rework the dates a little bit and maybe start the carnival for Memorial Day weekend at Mount Trashmore. But again, we have a lot to work through over the next few weeks to get ready to do that. Clean the Bay Day, the large volunteer event I talked about, will be modified or significantly downsized this year if we're able to do it at all. One date on here to mark your calendars. We'll be getting the electronic invitations out in the next few weeks, but June 12th, which is a Saturday, is the planned date for the Woodstock Park grand reopening skate park reopening. We're planning a formal ceremony, but also kind of an open house that day. So Saturday, June 12th is the date that we're planning to do that. June 18th, we are planning for a party at the pier. I'm not sure if Joan was on here or not, but really that's going to be decided by the limit on gatherings. If the number goes to 250, we may be able to do a pre-registration and actually do party at the pier down at Little Island on the beach. But honestly, if it's less than 250, we may not do that event and just focus on the one in the fall. I mentioned the July 4th celebration and fireworks. We've scheduled or looking at a May 1st go or no go decision date. And that is it has to be a big picture city discussion with all the stakeholders, police, fire, EMS, the resort, because not only do we do fireworks at Mount Trashmore, we do fireworks at the oceanfront. And then there's about 3 other smaller fireworks shows throughout the city. So we have to make a big picture city decision, and that's going to be primarily driven by the limit on gatherings and what our comfort level is by July. But we have to make those decisions early. So we're going to make a decision by May 1st. I mentioned back to nature camps. Those will be modified at best. Next slide, Beth. And then as we get in later in the year, we hope to maybe return to some normalcy for larger special events. The Water Lantern Festival is on the schedule right now for August the 7th, but we are already looking for a date later in the fall. It probably will slide to October, most likely, because I'm not sure we're just going to be in a position in early August to have 5,000 to 6,000 to 7,000 people at Mount Trashmore for that event. It's a great event. We want to try to do it, but it's probably going to end up being moved to later in the fall. The second party at the pier is August 27th at Little Island. We're hopeful we'll be able to do that. We're planning a 20th anniversary event or concert on September the 11th at Mount Trashmore. That's still in planning. And then some other things we hope to be able to do later in the year. Next slide. And then wrapping up the schedule, we have 3 dates in October for the fall concert series that we had to cancel in 2020. We may not do 3 concerts. We may end up doing 1 or 2, but we're definitely planning on doing at least a concert in the fall at Mount Trashmore. And then that kind of wraps up the special event schedule, but we still have to plug in kayak trips, nature hikes, a bunch of other programs into the schedule. And there's some other environmental programs on top of that. And then we have the partnership with Cultural Affairs, where we do these other smaller concerts and even some pop-up events and maybe even a symphonicity event. So we're still working out the details of the events that we do with Cultural Affairs. So we still have to plug those into the schedule. And then the last slide, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have right now. There's my contact info if you would just want to review the presentation later. And you can send me an email, give me a call. I'll be happy to talk about any program, any event, rental, any facility, anything that we do in the park system. So I can take questions now, or if you have something, to send it to me later on.
Hey, Rick, this is Hugh Tierney.
Yes, sir.
So we've been chatting with Elaine Lynn about Bike Month, and in years past, Wayne Wilcox, prior to Elaine, had organized a ride with the mayor, and we did a bike rodeo, and I think there might have been 1 or 2 other things. Does this fall under your purview, or where are we on this?
Hugh, yes and yes. It would fall to us in a couple of things. We're more than willing to help the planning committee put that together, and whatever advice, logistics support, we'll be happy to do that. And then in terms of the event permitting, we would be the one to also permit that. So any permit issues, coordination with the police, all of that kind of stuff, we would do that. So it's kind of twofold. That's the reason I say yes and yes. In fact, Elaine just sent an email, I think yesterday. I haven't really digested all of it yet, but it was kind of outlining what you're thinking about doing. So we'll certainly look at that and jump on that soon and see if we can't help put something together for May.
Okay, great. We had our first meeting of our Bike Month subcommittee. Obviously, with COVID, we don't have many things we're thinking about, but the clock is ticking towards May. So anything we can do to get that scheduled sooner rather than later, I think would be best.
Sounds good. I'll take a look at it and, we'll get focused on that so that we can see what we're able to put together for May in terms of a ride and whatever else you want to do.
Yeah, the main thing that's coming together now are just make sure we get a calendar together because some of the private organizations are going to do some things. I don't think it's a city involvement, but we do want to get them on a calendar.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Rick. Rick, with the party at the piers, what number do you think we should be at to think about doing the beverages for that?
I don't know, Mike. It's really tough. I'm just really hopeful at this point, by the time the first party at the pier gets here in June, that the limit on gatherings would be 250 people. And I think we could probably make that work with some sort of a free pre-registration so that we can control the numbers that come to Little Island. And that would be the number we would work with in terms of potential alcohol sales. I'm really hopeful we'll be back to normal for at least an event of that size by the time August rolls around. I can tell you in the big events world, the national, international events world, they're obviously saying some of these events with thousands of people are not really going to come back probably until 2022. You look at places like the amphitheater, they're just hopeful to get some concerts in July, August timeframe this year. And they're not going to be probably entertaining sellout concerts of 20,000 people. They're going to be happy to have concerts with 5,000 or 6,000 people because, that industry has been devastated the last year. So I'm not sure we'll be doing anything with thousands of people this year, but I'm hopeful maybe 250 maybe for June for Party at the Pier. And as we roll into fall, I think I'd be happy if we could do an event with 1,000 people, maybe at Mount Trashmore in the fall.
That'd be great. Keep our fingers crossed.
Yep. So it's day by day, like I said, it's changing every day. And then certainly as the governor, relaxes or changes the restrictions and limits on gatherings and the guidelines, we have to adapt and pivot and change everything that we're doing based on that. And it just doesn't affect the large events. It affects our programs and everything else. And then it also affects all the private rentals and the private events. So it's just a moving target constantly. We did it constantly in 2020, and I think we're going to be doing it for the first 7-8 months of 2021, I think.
Gotcha. Thank you, Rick. Does anyone have any questions for Rick? Okay, Rick, great presentation. Thank you, Rick.
Brett, thank you much. You have my contact info, so just shoot me an email or give me a call.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay, now for the liaison reports. Do we have anybody from MYLA here today?
We do have Ms. Gambito, and she's an attendee. I'll need to unmute her. And we also have Mr. Alaska. I don't know if they have a report. We'll just check. Just one moment.
Can you talk for me? I can't hear
I
anything.
literally don't know what to say.
Oh, there we are. Ms. Gambito, I was just able to unmute you. If you just wanted to check if you do have a report or anything, new from this month. And if no, just let us know either way. Can you hear us okay?
Hello.
Hi there. Ms. Gambito, this is Beth Haynes. I just unmuted and I just wanted to check and see if you did have a report. I think Mr. Alaska said that he's not able to hear very well.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So right now we're Ear Buddies, which is basically the program in partnership with Bayside Middle School, and we're just doing peer-to-peer conferences and building like leadership knowledge between them. That's basically it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions? Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody from schools here today? No. Captain Harris here, police.
Hey, good afternoon. Nothing significant to report from the police end as far as Parks and Rec go. Things are going well. I think I did experience one of your pop-up events at the West Neck Creek Nature Area. It was a nice surprise for me and my family when we were out walking. So thank you for putting that on. That's all I have from my end.
All right. Thank you. Anyone, any questions? Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
All right. Is Councilwoman Wooten here?
Yes, I am.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Do you have anything
Well,
for us?
I'd say just very briefly, I hope everyone is doing well, is safe and well today. And I'm sure, as you know, the city's main priority is to continue to ensure that we get vaccinations in the arms of all the residents who want it. We're making sure that we have staff available to assist in the effort. I know that there are, for some people, I've been hearing that have been delay, and just want to make sure that people know that the vaccinations are, you've probably heard about the Johnson & Johnson one, which I believe Virginia received over 65,000 for the state this week, or that was planned to be received. And so the more access we get, the more we can do for residents. As it relates to upcoming events, the City Council will meet on a staff retreat on next week, Monday and Tuesday. I'm sure it's usually televised. If you'd like to tune in to listen, we'll talk about several important priorities in the city, including the budget, and also April 21st and April 27th, we're going to have hearings on the budget, and just stay tuned to find out if they will be virtual or if you can attend those hearings in person. So that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Okay, for the foundation, Nick?
We don't have much to report. Things have been kind of quiet for the foundation. We do have some t-shirt sales that are showing up through our website, and we've had a few park benches come about that's being purchased. So other than that, things have been pretty quiet for the foundation.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Anybody have any questions? Okay, we'll go to the subcommittee reports. Do we have anything for open space? Jill?
No, I don't. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm in my car. No, we haven't had a meeting, so I don't have anything for them.
Okay. Thank you. Hugh, anything for bikeways and trails?
Just a quick recap. Obviously, the main effort has been the active transportation plan, which was approved. I think you were all briefed on that last time. So I think for Elaine, that was a big load off of her back. There is a BMX bike trail that's coming close to being presentable for Marshview Park. So we're all anxious to hear about that. Update on Bike Buddies, there are 35 racks sold, which is excellent news. And I think that that's the main thing, other than trying to get 2 or 3 or 4 things we might do for Bike Month. So we had a good meeting of the gist of the meeting being, let's just do what we know we can do and not try and do broad brush, big, many things. Let's get 2 or 3 things we know we can do and move forward. So hopefully we'll have something to share next meeting on what we're going to target. And we appreciate Rick Rowe and jumping in and helping us. And we'll probably need some public relations folks, Michael. So anything we can get in that regard would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay, now for the director's report, Michael.
Sure, thanks, Mike. The only thing I will mention right now is, just tagging on with what Councilwoman Wooten said, the vaccination effort is the #1 priority of the city. Park and Recreation has been heavily involved in assisting with that. Currently, of course, the main point of distribution, the vaccination site, is the convention center. We send staff every day that convention center is open and vaccinating. We send quite a few Park and Recreation staff to work the shifts, and they've been very appreciative. I worked a shift last week. It was just fascinating to see the well-oiled machine that the fire department, EMS, health department has put together at that facility. So it's running really smooth right now. Also, we are currently in plans. I believe it'll become a public announcement today or tomorrow. We will be using some of our recreation centers as vaccination sites moving forward. They will start to decentralize vaccination sites and get more out into the community using schools, rec centers, you name it. We had a big meeting this morning to finalize those plans. On the days where we do that for our rec centers, just so that you're aware as the commission, we will be closing the recreation centers to recreational activities on those days, just due to the parking and the logistics and all the space they need. However, if there is licensed childcare in the recreation center that they're using, that will remain open. So we would, close the pool, close the fitness center, close the gym. They'll be using the gymnasiums. And our staff would assist with the vaccination clinic that day, but childcare would remain open. And as I joked around to Mike Fentress, when the vaccination clinics are being held at Bow Creek, we will not be closing the golf course. Don't worry, Mike, it'll be okay. But I just wanted you all to know how involved this department is. Of course, we're not the medical providers. We're not the ones injecting people in the arms, but we're really involved behind the scenes, providing staff and facilities to this effort. And it will continue, as you know, for months, not just weeks, until everybody that wants a shot has a shot, and probably beyond that, we'll be doing vaccination clinics throughout the city. If you have any questions on that, let me know. As Councilwoman Wooten mentioned, City Council is in retreat. They have a 2-day retreat next week, and we'll gain more information on next year's budget towards the end of this month when the city manager presents his recommended budget to the council. So we'll at that point see what is in his recommended budget from our items that we submitted. So we'll find out then, and I'll let you know what is included in the recommended budget and what has not been included. If you have any questions, happy to answer. Other than that, temperatures are going up. People are getting out of the parks. I will say this, if you saw the post on our Facebook page yesterday that social media did, all of our recreational amenities in the parks are currently open, except for a Kids Cove playground at Mount Trashmore. That is the one amenity we have kept closed to keep with the intent of the governor's order. to limit group sizes of 25 to 25 or less. Other amenities in this park system do sometimes get more than 25 in them or at them. Dog parks, skate parks, other playgrounds, volleyball courts, you name it. But nothing attracts as many people as routinely and regularly as Kids Cove. I mean, every day, if it's nice out, there'll be more than 25 people there. So we have kept that closed. Back when, in the early part of the pandemic, when group sizes were at 50, Kids Cove was closed. So again, to be consistent with our thinking, we are getting a little beat up on that on social media. A lot of people want that open. But again, we do have 200 other playgrounds that people can go enjoy and kind of disperse and that don't attract big crowds. So if you saw that post, you'll see that's what we decided to finally put a post about that, because we've been getting so many calls, AKA complaints, on why is that playground closed. But I am hopeful that as the vaccine effort continues across the state and in Virginia Beach, that the group sizes continue to go up. And as soon as the group sizes do go up, we will, of course, reopen the Kids Cove playground. With that, I'll end it and take any questions.
Any questions for Michael? All right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll go to good and welfare. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add? I just hope everybody stays safe. Hopefully we're in the home stretch getting the vaccinations out there, and hopefully, like Rick was talking, at the end of this season, fall, we might have some normalcy. Anybody have anything? Okay, at this time, we have a motion to adjourn. All right, Hugh, motion?
I'll second.
Second. All right, all in favor? Say aye. Noes? All right, everybody, have a great one. Next meeting is April 1st. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
You guys take care.
Have a good day.